If, like me, you share a quiet fascination for basketball, tell me in the comments where you're watching from. And if you enjoy long, slow stories like this one, leave a like to help others discover it too. Now, close your eyes. Imagine a gym in the winter of 1891. The air outside is freezing. The wooden floor creaks with every step. There's no electricity humming in the walls, no echo of sneakers, just the sound of cold wind against the glass. Inside, a small group of students waits, bored and restless. Their instructor, James Naismith, a 30-year-old Canadian teacher, has been asked to invent something new. A game to keep his class active through the winter without the chaos of football or the violence of rugby. He thinks quietly for days. And then, one December morning, he nails 2 peach baskets to the balcony railing of the gym. 10 feet above the ground, he finds an old soccer ball. He gathers his class and says, "Let's try something." 2 teams of 9 players each. No dribbling, no backboard, no dunking. The goal? Simply throw the ball into the other team's basket. The first recorded game of basketball took place on December the 21st, 1891. In Springfield, Massachusetts, the final score was 1-0. A student named William Chase made the only basket. Every time the ball went in, someone had to climb a ladder to retrieve it. Simple, imperfect. But that sound, leather against wood, would echo far beyond that little gym. Naismith wrote 13 rules, typed neatly on a single sheet of paper, and pinned them to the gym door. The ball may be thrown in any direction. No running with the ball, no striking or pushing. 13 small ideas that would define a global game. Within months, basketball began to spread. The YMCA, which trained teachers and missionaries, carried it to schools, churches, and communities across the United States, and then across the world. By 1893, the game was already played in France, China, India, and Japan. That same year, something remarkable happened. At Smith College in Northampton, Massachusetts, a teacher named Senda Berenson adapted Naismith's rules for her female students. She believed women deserved a game of their own. Graceful, intelligent, expressive. So, the first women's basketball game was held in March 1893. It was played behind closed doors because society at the time thought it was unladylike to sweat or compete. But they played anyway, and that spirit of inclusion and quiet rebellion became part of basketball's DNA. By 1896, the first recorded professional game took place between teams from Trenton and Brooklyn YMCAs. Tickets cost 25 cents. The sport was still rough. Players wore long sleeves and heavy shoes. There were no nets, just baskets. But a new rhythm was forming. In 1898, the first professional league appeared. The National Basketball League, made up of teams from New Jersey, and Pennsylvania. It lasted only 6 years, but it set the tone for professional play. Around that time, James Naismith left Springfield to teach at the University of Kansas, where he founded the basketball program that would later produce legends like Wilt Chamberlain and Paul Pierce. Ironically, Naismith himself is the only coach in Kansas history with a losing record. But his influence, endless. As the century turned, the game began to grow organically. Gyms popped up in cities and towns. Universities formed teams. The first college game was played in 1895 between Hamline University and the Minnesota School of Agriculture. By 1905, basketball was recognized officially as a permanent winter sport in American colleges. The first metal hoops replaced wooden baskets in 1906. The net was born, and so was the satisfaction of hearing the ball swish cleanly through. The game was learning to breathe. By the 1910s, basketball had escaped the gym walls. YMCA missionaries took it abroad, carrying balls and rules to China, the Philippines, South America, and Europe. Soldiers played it during World War I, bringing it to barracks, bases, and foreign fields. In the Philippines, basketball became part of school life. By 1913, the country had its own national league, one of the first outside North America. Back home, the sport was refining itself. The dribble, originally seen as bad form, became an art. In 1909, Spalding introduced the first basketball. Designed for bounce and grip, fans began to recognize stars. Players like Ed Wachter and Joe Lapchick, early heroes of a still young game. The Amateur Athletic Union, AAU, organized national championships. By the 1920s, basketball was a staple of college campuses. Crowds gathered in small gyms, and sports writers started calling it the indoor spectacle. But perhaps the most joyful version of the game came from a group of entertainers. The Harlem Globetrotters, founded in 1926 by Abe Saperstein. They mixed skill, comedy, and showmanship. Dazzling crowds, while quietly challenging racial segregation. They traveled the country when black athletes were still excluded from major leagues, proving that talent and creativity couldn't be confined by prejudice. The 1930s brought a new chapter. In 1936, basketball became an Olympic sport, debuting in Berlin. Ironically, it was played outdoors, on a clay and sand court. It rained during the final, turning the game into a muddy struggle. But it was historic. The United States won the first gold medal, defeating Canada 19-8. Among the spectators that day was James Naismith himself, watching the game he created become a world event. He handed out medals to the winners, a dream fulfilled. After World War II, basketball flourished. Across Europe and Asia, the International Basketball Federation, FIBA, founded in 1932, organized competitions between nations. Meanwhile, back in the United States, professional basketball was struggling to find stability. Teams came and went. Gyms were small, pay was low, but change was coming. In June 1946, the Basketball Association of America, BAA, was founded by a group of arena owners looking to fill seats when hockey wasn't playing. The first official BAA game was held on November 1st, 1946, between the New York Knicks and the Toronto Huskies. The Knicks won, 68-66. Ticket holders were promised free entry if they were taller than the tallest Husky player. 6 feet 8 inches. It was a humble beginning, but it marked the professionalization of the sport. In 1949, the BAA merged with the National Basketball League to form the National Basketball Association, the NBA. At last, basketball had a home. The 1950s brought television, stars, and the slow but unstoppable march toward integration. In 1950, Earl Lloyd became the first African American to play in an NBA game, opening the door for generations to come. The world of basketball was beginning to look like the world itself. Diverse, complex, and united by the sound of the ball. So that's where we'll pause tonight, from peach baskets nailed to a balcony rail to the birth of the NBA. From the cold gym of 1891 to the glowing arenas of the 1950s. A journey of 60 years of invention, passion, and persistence. In the next chapter, we'll explore the decades of transformation. The rise of Bill Russell, the battles of Wilt Chamberlain, the Showtime years of Magic and Bird, and the legend of Michael Jordan. But for now, rest easy, my friend. Let the rhythm of the game echo softly in your mind. Because basketball, like life itself, began with a simple idea. What if we just throw a ball